With more now on what unfolded in Ottawa today, we've reached Greta Levy. She was also under lockdown earlier today. She's the NDP press secretary. Greta, you were in Centre Block when shots were fired. Tell me what you heard, what your reaction was.
Well, we were just leaving Centre Block as we first realized that something was wrong. I was coming out with a colleague out of the centre doors, and as soon as we came outside, just a couple of seconds later, we saw women up ahead in front of us get down on the ground. And we both stood there, frankly, dumbstruck, until we heard someone yell gun. And at that point, my colleague and I, we both dropped to the ground. And a few seconds later, I lifted my head, and that's when I saw the gunman walking up the ramp leading to Centre Block. And as soon as I saw him and he was looking in our direction, our general direction, I don't know what he was looking at, and I saw the gun, I put my head right back down, and he just kept walking. He wasn't running, he was just walking calmly, deliberately, and then a few seconds later we heard the shooting.
First of all, can you tell me, were you able to retain in that moment what he looked like? How do you remember him?
I think I was. As I say, I looked at him very briefly because as soon as I scanned down to the gun, I put my head back down. But he looked fairly young. I thought 20s or 30s, under 6 feet, and seemed Caucasian. I mean, he was maybe 2 or 3 meters in front of me, and that's what it looked like to me. Had dark hair, dark clothing, and then the only other thing I noticed, obviously, was the gun.
There was some mention that he was wearing a kind of a white scarf or bandana or something like that today. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that or notice that. I saw his face. His face was uncovered. I didn't see anything on his head or around his neck. His face seemed to be in plain sight, and if anything, that was what was so... I didn't feel a great deal of fear in that moment because I just felt absolutely nothing. I didn't understand. And here was this man walking seemingly calmly up to Centre Block. And it was really only when, as I said, I put my head back down. I had enough sense to do that, but it was only once the shooting started, a few seconds later, that we really understood what was going on.
When you, and I can appreciate that you're not hard to have a sense of time in a moment like that, but from the moment you saw him and then you say you put your head down because you realize he's carrying a gun, how long would you estimate it was between seeing him walking toward the Centre Block, getting in, and then hearing those shots ring out?
I know that it can be difficult to judge in a time when you're suddenly flooded with stress or adrenaline, but I know it wasn't over a minute. It felt like 10 seconds. It felt immediate, and I had my head down, so didn't see him go into Centre Block. He was on the ramp. So I just assumed that's where he was headed, and then because we could hear the shooting, it was obviously a shooting very shortly thereafter. And it went on for a while. It's earlier when you played I guess the video. I haven't seen it of the shooting that was taken inside. That was very difficult to hear. It was a lot of shots, and it sounded like single shots, i.e. shot after shot after shot, as opposed to bursts. And then that stopped after a while, and my colleague and I were with a third person, a woman who happened to just be standing next to us at the time. We didn't know her, and at that point she started crying and sort of was able to choke out that her 3 kids were inside on a school visit. And I think I think I felt a relief that finally we had something to do, which was to try to comfort her or say anything that could possibly sound reassuring. I don't even know what we said, but you tried to say there's a lot of security at Parliament Hill. There are a lot of people who are going to be trying to help now, and then we were just focused on her for a little while, and then a second round of shots started. These ones didn't last as long, and then shortly after that, a policeman with his weapon drawn started running up the middle stairs and asked us where he went, and so we pointed and said we think inside center block.
And where did you go then?
He then said, go down the hill now. And so the three of us, I started running. My colleague was behind me, sort of keeping his arm around this woman, trying to get her to run, and the three of us just ran down the hill.
You know, as you reflect on today, you say as you heard the shots, as we played them a little bit earlier, you're reflecting on what happened to you today. I mean, it seems to go without saying you probably never had a day like this, but what's it going to be like for you to go back to work there?
I don't want to think about that right now. I'm happy to be doing this because staying busy. I'm back now in the office with my colleagues, and everyone is staying strong and showing remarkable solidarity and love for each other on the worst possible day. And I know I'll take a lot from that, but honestly, I don't know.
A really rough day, and I really appreciate you talking to Canadians about what you saw and what you experienced there today as we all try to piece together just what happened. Greta, thanks very much.
Yeah, of course.
Ms. Greta Levy, she's the press secretary with the NDP.